Hello everyone, my name is Rachel Beal, and the event of national news I'm going to be talking about is Lia Thompson, the transgender NCAA Division I swimmer at UPenn. The three publics I chose were transgender athletes, women swimmers, and the NCAA Board of Committees. So for transgender athletes, the opinion leader I chose was Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner went to the Olympics multiple times in the triathlon. She won gold medal, and the triathlon's kind of like swimming, it has a bit of swimming in there, and then on top of that, it's a very heavy aerobic sport, such as swimming. Caitlyn Jenner transitioned male to female, and she has come out multiple times saying how she thinks it's unfair for transgender male to female athletes to compete against females. She says that they have an unfair advantage because of their stature. And then for women swimmers, it was a little hard to pinpoint one thing. A lot of athletes have come out. People on her team or competitors with Lia Thompson have come out sharing their opinions. She even had 16 teammates on UPenn write an unsent letter to NCAA, basically saying how they were uncomfortable with it and sharing their point of view on the situation, and explaining how Lia had an unfair advantage. The one I'm going to be focusing on is Reka Georgi. She swims against Lia at Virginia. I think it's either Vermont Tech or Virginia Tech. But she's a competitor of Lia, and she got 17th in the 500 freestyle. So they taped top 16 fastest to NCAA. So she wasn't able to go, and she's basically saying she wasn't able to go because of Lia. And a lot of people were criticizing Reka because they were like, you got 17th, you weren't even close, blah, blah, blah. But she, the reason I chose her is because she had been to the NCAA a couple times, especially in the 500 freestyle. She's went in the past, and she also swam in the Olympics. So she understands like the high stakes it takes to get there, what it feels like to get there, because she's been in a similar place. Next is the NCAA Board of Committees or Board of Governors. So the NCAA has a different Board of Governors per sport, male and female. And they basically get to decide whether or not transgenders can compete. They get to make the rules. And for swimming, the rule that they made was that the concentration of testosterone in a transgender female swimmer's blood must be less than 5 nanomoles per liter continuously for at least 36 months before she can compete. So it seems like Lia made those rules, so she was able to compete per the rules. The NCAA also came out and said swimming firmly believes in inclusivity and the opportunity for all athletes to experience the sport of swimming in a manner that is consistent with their gender, identity, and expression. We also strongly believe in competitive equity, and like many, are doing our best to learn and educate ourselves in the appropriate balance in this space, the organization said. So it seems like that's a pretty fair statement. It's pretty understanding. They're just trying to work with what they got and make the best rules for everyone to fairly compete. When it comes to NCAA being a trustworthy organization, I would say they have to be fair. I would say they're fairly trustworthy. I competed Division II, and the biggest thing that I learned about NCAA when it comes to women versus men's sports is in the past they have given a lot more funding to men's sports versus women, regardless of their success or not. Men have always received double, triple the funding, while sometimes women's sports received none. But that has since changed. I think in the last 20 years, that's changed a lot. That being said, if we want to go back to last year, NCAA basketball, comparing the women's and men's weight room, the women's NCAA Division I weight room was one singular rack of weights. I think that went up to 20 pounds. And the men's NCAA Division I weight room was like 12 squat racks with like a whole lineup of weights. Like it was a lot more thought and a lot more money put into the men's weight room. And the same thing went with like the little gift bags. When you get to NCAA, you get little gifts, you get little merch. When you go for the women's, it was like, I think they had expired products in there that were like from the dollar store versus the men's, who got a lot more nice quality things. So when it comes to them being fair between men's and women's sports, they often favor the men. So and that's it. I'm going to cite all my sources down below, and thank you.